video about breastfeeding, and this is going to be mostly about at work and pumping and getting ready to go back to work and that kind of thing. If you're going back to work and don't exactly know how much breast milk you'll need and whatnot, what I did was at the end of April, I was going back June 1st. I was really going back June 8th, but because I had some issues at the end, I had to be on bed rest for a week, so went back June 1st. Anyways, I started pumping at the end of April so that, you know, she could have a good supply for when I went back to work, and I wouldn't have to like pump and pump and pump the week that I went back or the week before. So at the end of April I started pumping, and that made me produce even more breast milk because I was breastfeeding her plus I was pumping as well. So I would have to pump or breastfeed her about, she would eat every 3 hours, and then afterwards, like about an hour afterwards, I would pump. And she'd usually only eat off one, so like the other one I could immediately pump off of after she ate. So, and then the other one I'd pump like an hour afterwards, and I would get around 4 ounces, I'm thinking. So each time, like I would get, some days I would only pump like once, and some days like 2 or 3 times, but just to get a good supply up is all you need to do, really. So you don't have to be pumping constantly the week before. So I got about a week or 2 supply up doing it that way, and it might have even been a month's supply. And the week before I went back to work, I completely stopped breastfeeding her, and it wasn't really by choice. It was because she had gotten nipple confusion, and I knew that like once I went back to work and she was getting more bottles during the day, that she wouldn't take to me at all anyways. So I did want to try to feed her like at least one time off of me, but that was not going to probably work out. So I gave the breastfeeding up a week before, and then just started pumping. I guess it was about 5 or 6 days before I went back to work that I stopped breastfeeding her altogether. And then I went to exclusively pumping, and I started out pumping like every 4 to 6 hours because I would get so engorged because they were used to her feeding every like 3 or 4 hours. So each time, like I would try to go longer and longer. I would go for instead of 4 hours, I'd go for 5 hours, and you know, get a little more each time, of course. But I eventually worked my way up to only pumping 3 times a day, every 8 hours. But I just gradually worked myself up to it. I started with every 3, then every 4, every 5, and so on and so on. And I just got them used to the 3 times a day schedule. I'm not sure if my supply did go down, but now usually when I pump, I just get about the same every time. I get 13 ounces from both all together each time. So I produce about, let's see, that's 39 ounces, I think. 39, close to 40 ounces a day. And I have, as you can see from my last couple of videos, I have bunches of it stored in the deep freezer, and I have it even in my freezer. I have one shelf of it that I freeze it first and then I put it in the deep freezer. So anyways, that's how I did it when I went back to work. I didn't have any, I didn't go to any classes for it to figure out, you know, how I was going to do it. I just kind of thought of it my own, but there are classes. I think Toys R Us and Babies R Us, they offer back to work classes for pumping and how to get started and all that. And then the hospital, sometimes they'll offer it too. Like they just started that at my hospital, and I wish they really would have had that class like before I went back to work, because it would have been very helpful. And I did get this pamphlet for booklet of information about breastfeeding from the hospital when I left. Just found it like a couple weeks ago in a diaper bag that I had gotten at the hospital. I just stuffed everything down there. I didn't really like read anything when I got home except for the discharge paperwork, and so I just didn't have time. So I found this, and it talks about pumping and back to work, and some tips they had was start working only after your milk supply is well established. Take home milk for the next day's feeding. Frequent breastfeeding when at home, which I couldn't do that, but anyways, find out about facilities at work for expressing and storing your milk. They do have, like, I work at the hospital, I'm a nurse, and they do have a pumper that's on the labor, I think it's mother baby. They do have like a pumper where you can go up there and spend as much time pumping as you want. They actually do have a hospital grade pump up in there too. So, but I just I stay on my unit and pump. I have somewhere where I go and I spend like 20-30 minutes pumping, and then I come back on the floor and somebody watches my patients for me. But anyways, and then there was another section in here just about working and breastfeeding. It says plan ahead, like I was saying. Start planning before your baby's born. Gather ideas from any coworkers who have breastfed their babies. Think about what your work schedule will be. Studies show that the longer you wait before returning to work, the easier the transition will be both for you and baby. Shorter work days may be easier to manage since they mean less pumping for you and fewer feedings away from the breast for your baby. Some mothers prefer longer work days with fewer days per week, so they will have more full days at home with their babies. Make your return to work easier by starting on a Thursday or Friday as your first day back. You will have the weekend to rest and prepare for any challenges you weren't able to anticipate. Whatever you decide, remember that you can adjust later if your first strategy doesn't suit you or your baby. It also talks about Leche League meetings, which I don't know if we have those in my area. I live in a small area, so I don't know if they have those. Practice pumping or hand expressing your milk while you are still at home, so you will learn what works for you. And you can refreeze the breast milk you collect to use for the first few days back at work, which this is what I did. After the first few days, your baby can take fresh milk from the previous work day because fresh milk retains more nutrients than immune factors. Frozen milk can provide a backup supply and peace of mind. Wait to introduce the bottle till just before you start back to work, and that's one thing that I didn't do. It was like 6 weeks, I think. No, she was 3 weeks old when I introduced the bottle, so she got a little bit of confusion. Breastfeeding exclusively while you're at home establishes your milk supply and teaches your baby to latch on well. And the biggest challenge or biggest problem working mothers face, whether breastfeeding or not, is emotional and physical fatigue. Getting enough rest is vital. Establish priorities for household work and get as much help as possible, starting with help from your spouse or older children. Drink to thirst and eat nutritious, wholesome foods. Avoid caffeine, limiting yourself to 2 or 3 drinks daily. Excessive caffeine can make it hard for you to sleep and may upset some babies. So, anyways, says plan on sitting or lying down or nursing or playing with baby for the first 30 minutes after you arrive home. Everyone will be more relaxed if you and your baby are more relaxed. Anyways, just thought I'd share with you those tidbits. All this information came from the Leche League International, which if anybody wants a copy of any of this stuff, I can scan it into my computer and send it to you. Just message me. I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions for me, you can always just write in the comments section or message me. Thanks for watching.